Welcome to Reddit After Hours. This is r/am I the butthole, where OP's wife gets mad at him for not wanting to hang out with her sister, and her sister's affair partner. Our first post comes from Jazz Like Practice 926, titled, "Am I the butthole for telling my wife that I won't hang out with her sister and her sister's affair partner?" I, a 26-year-old male, have been married to my wife, Sarah, 26, for about 5 years. My wife has a sister, Chelsea, with whom she's incredibly close with, and they pretty much talk every day. The three of us and Chelsea's husband, Ryan, used to spend a lot of time together, going on double dates and just hanging out as couples. About a year ago, everything changed. It was revealed that Chelsea was having an affair with a guy named Doug. This came as an incredible shock to me as we hung out so much as couples. Ryan took the cheating pretty hard and confided in me how much it hurt that she was stepping out on him. Honestly, I was devastated for the guy, and I felt a lot of anger how everything had just played out. My wife insists she did not know that her sister was having an affair. However, given how close she and Chelsea are, I had my doubts. Her and Ryan eventually divorced, and Chelsea has been with Doug ever since. Despite everything that happened, my wife and Chelsea have continued their close relationship, going to brunches and spas together, just as they did before. However, when my wife first brought up the idea of doing a couples activity with Chelsea and Doug, I made it very clear that I didn't want to participate. I still think it's messed up how Chelsea cheated on Ryan, sneaking around behind his back for so long and then acting like nothing happened. My wife says the marriage is over now and it's time to accept Doug as part of the family. When Chelsea brought up the idea of going on a couples trip with her and Doug, I reiterated to my wife that I did not want to hang out with her sister and her affair partner. My wife got upset, asking me why I was harping on this and how it didn't even affect me. I told her that it did affect me because Ryan was so deeply hurt by what Chelsea did. He trusted her and she betrayed him in the worst way. Sarah said that I shouldn't judge their relationship because I didn't know what it was like. Sarah then told me that she still loves her sister and isn't going to abandon her because of the affair. I told her that I was not asking her to stop talking to Chelsea. I just didn't want to be expected to hang out with Chelsea and Doug. Am I the butthole? OP, you're definitely not the butthole. I think you're doing exactly what most people would do. You're respecting your wife in that she wants to have a relationship with her sister and wants to move past that, which is perfectly normal. But she also can't turn around and expect you to want to hang out with someone that you don't want to hang out with. There's the age-old saying that my parents used to tell me growing up, that the people that you hang around with says a lot about who you are as a person. And you clearly think cheating is wrong because it is, and you don't want to hang out with the cheater. There's nothing wrong with that. Our next Reddit post comes from Spirited Gananch 1843, titled, "Am I the butthole for refusing to work on the house that my girlfriend bought?" My girlfriend's aunt passed away about 2 weeks into our relationship. 2 months later, she put an offer on the house. Her aunt was a drug addict and a hoarder. There was nicotine all over the walls, and we removed a lot of stuff out of the house, but now the interior of the house needs work. Her mom and her mom's boyfriend have been doing a lot of work themselves on the house. My girlfriend started to drive 30 minutes from her job to the house to help. She's expecting me to do the same every single day after work. And honestly, I don't want to. I don't have the mental capacity to go to work after working my regular job for 8 hours and then work on the house all weekend. My job is also 30 minutes away from that house. The house is not even actually officially hers. Her loan is still pending. I know I'm going to get burned out quickly from my job, the house, and our relationship if my working on the house every night has to happen. My girlfriend is trying to guilt trip me into coming every night by saying how her mom and her mom's boyfriend are doing this all for free and how I'm just sitting there. They don't actually work full-time jobs though. I'm grateful for their help, but I don't want to work every night right after work. Am I the butthole for refusing to work on this house every night? And OP adds an edit. I told my girlfriend that I am willing to help Thursday night after work and Friday night after work, and I'd also be willing to work all day Saturday and Sunday. She still thinks that's not enough though. OP, my biggest question here would be if the loan is still pending, who owns the house? Are they even allowed to be in there making changes? Is the house still in probate? How long is it going to take for her loan to get approved if it's already been a couple months? Also, if it's not your house, it's not unreasonable to expect you to not want to work on it. I think it's a big red flag that she's expecting you to literally devote all of your free time to this house that isn't even yours and technically isn't even hers in the very beginning stages of this relationship. That might be a real big flag for things that might be to come in the future. You may want to have a talk with her and may want to think about reconsidering this new relationship, OP. Our next Reddit post is from Professor Gary Oak, titled, "Am I the butthole for declining my sister's wedding due to poor guest accommodations?" My sister announced her engagement a few months ago. She's only been dating the guy for 9 months, and I've only met him twice. My sister wants everyone to go to Florida so they can get married on a cruise ship, then go on a cruise with the folks that are willing to the following day. As someone who is unable to cruise and who hates all travel, this is extremely problematic for me. A couple of key points. She scheduled the wedding for a Monday, which means that I would have to take 2 days off of work just to attend. She then scheduled the wedding outside of our home state so she could get married on a boat, meaning I will need to spend at least $500 on plane tickets and even more to get a hotel down there. Not only that, but she didn't actually officially invite me, and she still hasn't directly sent me an invite. She told my grandparents I could help with transportation for them since I am the only family member with a driver's license and without kids to support. And I got a call from my grandpa asking me to help him with transportation before I even knew there was a wedding. Not only that, but because my grandpa is on dialysis, I will need to stop at a hospital at least once both ways for him to get the care that he needs. I feel since this is their wedding, it is her job to find proper care for our grandparents and that she can't pawn it off on me. This also makes me feel like I can't go to the wedding without being guilted about it and not wanting to help them. I am also autistic and eat a very strict diet at very strict times. I have been informed that the cruise ship will not allow me to bring any homemade food on board, and I will only be able to select food from a very small menu which does not meet my needs. If she valued my grandparents being at her wedding, she would have her reception near her hometown. If she valued the rest of us being there, she would have it in the same state that we all live in. I feel like it's okay to decline given that she's having what is essentially a destination wedding. Am I the butthole? OP, you hit it right on the head with some of your comments. It is not your responsibility to take care of other people's medical needs. It's not your responsibility to have to drive other people to someone else's wedding. The famous phrase goes, your insufficient planning does not constitute an emergency on my end. It sounds like this cruise ship doesn't even have what you need to accommodate your diet. So is going even safe for you? 10 out of 10, not the butthole, OP. Your sister is kind of being a bridezilla. I think that's the word. In any case, if she gets mad at you for showing up, you could always just say, well, you never sent me an invite anyway. I didn't even think I was invited. Our next Reddit post comes from Even Editor 4559, titled, "Am I the butthole for refusing to let my roommate's cat into my room after it, quote, apologized? I, a 27-year-old female, share an apartment with my roommate, Lily, who's 26, who has a cat named Muffin. Muffin is adorable, but has a habit of sneaking into my room and knocking things over. Last week, I came home to find Muffin had somehow gotten in and destroyed a puzzle that I had spent hours working on. Pieces were scattered everywhere. Some were even chewed up. One was lost entirely, and I was furious. I told Lily that Muffin needed to stay out of my room, and she agreed, but she also said that Muffin felt bad and wanted to apologize. I laughed it off, assuming she was joking. The next day, I found a little note on my desk, in Lily's handwriting, of course, saying, "I'm sorry, Muffin," along with a cat treat. I thought it was funny, but I didn't change my stance. Since then, Lily has been passive-aggressively saying things like, "Muffin was just trying to make things right," and "You're holding a grudge against a cat." She even suggested that I let Muffin into my room, supervised, so she can earn back my trust. I told her no, that I wasn't interested in giving her cat another chance to destroy my stuff. Now she's calling me heartless for not accepting Muffin's apology and is acting like I'm being unreasonable. Am I the butthole here? OP, it's your room. And seeing as that Lily is your roommate, I'm assuming that you guys probably go like 50-50 on rent. Your room is your private space that you pay for. You get to decide who goes in and who doesn't. And at the end of the day, as funny as this apology might be, it's still a cat. The cat doesn't understand that it even did anything wrong. Nothing's going to change. It's going to go back in and break everything. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of love for cats. I have 2 cats myself and a dog, okay? But the cat doesn't realize it did anything wrong. And at the end of the day, it's still your room. You could not let the cat in your room for a good reason and no reason. It's your space. Try going into her room, destroying a few things of hers, and then asking her to let you in, supervised to earn back her trust, and see what she says. And OP, I'm totally kidding. Don't go in her room. Don't destroy her stuff. 2 wrongs do not make a right. I'm just saying, I don't think she would quite feel the same way if the shoe was on the other foot here. Our next Reddit story comes from Olive Oil, titled, "Am I the butthole for not hiding my tampon trash at work?" I started my period earlier today while at work. No big deal, right? I put in a tampon and threw the wrapper and applicator into the mostly empty trash, a medium-sized trash can that had no lid, without even thinking twice about it. Then I just went back to my job as normal. 2 hours later, the only other woman on the floor came into my office and told me that I had left the tampon wrapper and applicator, quote, out in the open, and that anyone could see it. She also said that I need to be more discreet because it's a mixed bathroom. Of course, I immediately thought that her comment was rude, but a friend pointed out that she might have thought that she was helping by letting me know. Still, I don't think there's anything to hide about a perfectly normal piece of trash. If it were an actual used tampon, I would wrap it for sanitary reasons and smell reasons. But this was just some small bits of plastic in a trash can. I grew up in a house full of sisters, and my fiance is very chill about menstruation. I've heard of men being weird about periods, but I've never personally experienced it. Another friend suggested that I go to HR to make a statement and verify what's expected, but I kind of feel like that's going over the top. I'm more inclined to just fume about it for the rest of the day and move on without changing how I throw away things. Am I the butthole because I didn't hide my tampon trash? OP, you are absolutely not the butthole. It's 2025. Even if you had thrown your used tampon in there wrapped in toilet paper, there's still nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with menstruation, and I would probably argue that if a male had come to you complaining about used tampon trash in there, that would be some type of workplace harassment and shouldn't be allowed either. It's just trash. It's just menstruation. We are all adults, and your coworker needs to start acting like it. That was Reddit After Hours, bringing you r/Am I the Butthole. Thank you all for listening, and if you like these stories, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe as we put out new Reddit videos almost every single day. And to everyone else who's already subscribed, thank you all so much for your support.